Apparently, okay, Ahsoka, its viewership. I think they announced the viewership numbers, or at least their version of the viewership numbers on the first episode, and only the first episode. They haven't released any viewership numbers for any episode after that I can remember. I don't know if anybody could correct me, but I don't remember seeing any viewership numbers for any episode after the first. And the first episode is always going to have high viewership, right? Like
Yeah.
especially when it's a show that people are getting ready to most likely hate on, right? Like you knew this was going to be a thing. Like they had the whole news articles, everything around it was based on feminism is this, this is so amazing, female empowerment, blah blah, and all the trigger words that they know that all the people online are going to just kind of be angry about and jump on and everything like that. So the first episode of having high viewership never shocks me. But this is why they only ever they only ever release the viewership numbers for the first episode. They do this all the time. They did it with Rings of Power too. They did it for the first 2 episodes supposedly and never talked about it again. So what do you guys make of this? I mean, did you see this coming? Are you blaming it on wokeness? Are you just blaming it on it being terrible?
I haven't seen a single episode of this show.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I've given up
I
on it.
have.
Like I'm
I
gonna
have,
keep watching it so I could do my review when it's all over. But I'm like 2 or 3 episodes behind at this point. But that's you were talking about.
You're
the,
not
the
missing
articles
much.
that were coming out about feminism. This I didn't see a lot of those articles. I was surprised because I was looking for them, and yeah, you saw them here and there. But there was actually a lot less of those sort of articles for Ahsoka than I expected. And I think there's just general apathy towards the show, even from the majority of Disney fans. Like, yeah, you'll see some people on Twitter praising the show, but they're few and far between. Like almost even Disney stands are kind of united in that this is just here. It just exists, which is almost worse than it being bad for agenda and ideology reasons.
Like Leon, to make
are
it
running out for the endless culture war, ladies and gentlemen. Because more and more people are realizing that these shows just aren't worth it, and that channels cannot get the viewership necessary for the topic of Star Wars. In the same way with Doctor Who, it's like beating a dead horse. There's no point to it. So let's move on to something people actually care about, see if there's a controversy, and get some viewership from it.
Well, Miss Sassy, you want to say something? I'll say it after you. No worries.
Me? No, I don't have any.
Oh, okay.
It was me.
Not
It was
me.
me.
I haven't seen a single episode of Ahsoka. I'm sorry. I can't do it.
Don't be sorry about
Nope.
that.
I'm
Well,
I haven't either. Just
Look, I've seen it. I haven't watched the seventh episode. I'm working on that comprehensive review. It's just that the reason why people don't are not talking about this show. At least with Andor, I'm going to be honest with you. At least with Andor, they did good casting for when we got closer to the end, and on top of that, after episode, I believe it was episode 4 or 5, the heist episode.
Yeah.
Things kicked up, and all of a sudden, people got more interested as rumors were starting to come out that it's actually a good show, but it's just very slow. However, it wasn't enough to attract the large enough audience that they wanted, which is a shame because it's actually one of the few good Disney Star Wars shows that came out. But they did the grave mistake of making it unbearable to watch for the first half, and then made the second half good, which is not a good thing to do with your show. I know that shows need to have slow segments. I do know that, but the slow segments should at least be interesting enough to get you to the point where there's that rise, that third act, and then the satisfying conclusion. Now, as for Ahsoka,
they kind of were, though, to be fair, Dragon. The slow parts of Andor are worth it and are well done.
Yeah, but it's
just not a vapid show. Like Disney and all modern stuff.
It came out of left field.
Vapid, mindless watching. And so when Andor didn't, Andor did what a relatively well done, slow paced show would do, people said, "Oh, it's boring. We don't want to watch it." Well, I think that's dude. If it takes losing viewers, stop making vapid, no attention span TV shows and movies, then I'm all for it.
I'm all for it too.
Sing the praises of Ahsoka when the Acolyte is eventually released, in the same way that people are singing the praises of Andor now that Ahsoka is released.
Look, maybe
you're
right.
People were praising Andor when it was coming out. It was just few and far between because less people were watching it. But Andor was well received off, when it came out.
I think,
and also, no, go ahead, Coach. I'll say after.
it's just all over the place. People don't trust Disney anymore because how they are throwing out their the products, the way they are paying attention to some products and kind of neglecting some others, aka what happened to Obi-Wan, right? Look at the series, like it's crazy. So people, Andor came, I think, just to the to probably it came out at the wrong time. Also, if you look at the Rogue One kind of scenario, why didn't they thought of think about this earlier? But the problem is, if you watch any like Joseph Campbell interview, I'm always coming back to that. Just watch an interview with Joseph Campbell. Most of his interviews that you can find on YouTube, they were shot on the Skywalker Ranch because he was an integral part. He was the spiritual mastermind of these products back in the days with George Lucas, with Castan, with John Williams, with all the other, with Marsha Lucas, of course. She's a genius in editing as well. So all these people, they've really dedicated some obsessive passion to this product to make it the best and most outstanding new age modern mythological story in their time, and they succeeded because they brought a lot of heart and willingness to this product. Now, you look at how all over the place this is. It Kathleen Kennedy, it's all random what she says. Nobody believes in her words. The products they're not meaningful. They are not filled with people on the inside building some sort of a spinal cord that kind of holds up these products. So sometimes there are 3 episodes, okay, and then the rest is not really good. Sometimes the beginning is kind of smudged, and then it kind of picks up by the end. Sometimes the beginning is quite good, but to the end it kind of falls off a cliff. So there's always something wrong with them.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. And the problem with Ahsoka, at least, is that like the beginning, the first episode. To be honest, I watched it. I thought, besides like some stupid things and the Sabine lightsaber stab, it was okay. It was whatever. Then episode 2 comes out. I'm like, okay, yeah, fine, okay, I'll keep going. Then episode 3 rolls around, and then we get like this insane, crazy shit happening. And then episode 4 rolls around. It's pretty normal. We get to see some interesting fight scenes, but then we get one where Ahsoka's supposed to be fighting this old man that, like her, was trained the Jedi Temple, yet both of them are fighting like they're 200 years old, and one of them is swinging a goddamn lightsaber like it's a glow-in-the-dark bat, trying to do some bat jujitsu with this damn thing. And then afterwards, like, you make characters that would never do some, like, Sabine, people were telling me, oh, Sabine has always been reckless. Yes, but she never is reckless to the point where she will literally fuck over Ahsoka because, or even like believe that Ahsoka died immediately, So like it's just all over the place with the story, and then you include these characters. Yeah, that's the thing. Balin could be an interesting character, but the problem is that character will never reach its true potential of being interesting because of the fact that they have to, because it's Kathleen Kennedy's mandate to link it to the sequel.
Right there, hold it right. Yes, Drag, go on. I have something I want to bring up.
No.
Like, you can finish, but I'm glad to stop here.
No, yeah, and the thing is, like, the series with Ahsoka, you never know what they're actually planning or what direction is going to. Okay, why are you now bringing Thrawn back if at the end of the day, the main bad honcho, according to Disney, because of the sequel movies, is the first order, but the first order is not headed by Thrawn, yet now you bring him in. So what the fuck is he gonna do? Is he just gonna sit in the shadows, and are they gonna
diet dragon?
Like, are they just going to make like a new sequel trilogy to the sequel trilogy plus, where now Thrawn is attaining the role that he was supposed to have had in the original sequel trilogy, yet they didn't do that?
Do him in eventually. Probably have some silly death.
But y'all really know about Star Wars, right? Like, you guys are connoisseurs, okay? Yeah. The thing about a good production, though, because I used to be like really, the prequels was it for me, right? Just to go back to the movies. When something's made good, you don't even need to know the details of like, well, Sabine wouldn't have went off on Ahsoka this way, this, that, and the other. If it's good, people are gonna watch it. You can tell they're just throwing whatever together and hoping it sticks.
Yeah, but it's not good. That's the problem. It's
That's my
boring to
point.
watch.
But that's my point. It's like it's not even like it's not even about even the details that y'all know. Like why I'm saying that is this. All right, this saga, this movie, y'all gonna bust on me a little bit, but Twilight, I didn't get into Twilight until Breaking Dawn. But it was so good. It was so well done. Like even the chemistry with all the actors and actresses and everything. It was so good that I brought my best friend along to watch it, and then we went back to
Part one
up.
or two.
One.
Is she still your
I
friend?
knew she was gonna say. I knew Cassie was gonna come for me, but I'm just saying, it's still. It was done so good. Like I never read the books or anything like that. Like I was just like, oh, this is good. I'm gonna watch it. Like, and even with Star Wars, like, all right, the prequels really did it for me. I didn't know everything about it. My nephew, he knew everything about it. So it's like, hey guys, all right, like I like Twilight, all right, but like no, but it's done good.
Atreus looks depressed.
If it's done good, it's just gonna be good. Even that picture of like you can even tell by the costuming that they don't care. Like what else I really liked about Star Wars is that you really believe these people really look like the thing that the mutant or whatever, any of the stuff, right? You just believed it to be real the way it was done. They took their time. And then if you look at this Nielsen rating, I guess these are the Nielsen overall ratings from August or whatever. Yo, most of the shows on here are like, if not most, what we have Suits is number 1, Grey's Anatomy, NCIS.
Exactly. That's what I was going to because of the writer's strike, there's been no new content for Ahsoka to compete with. I think if there was other stuff, Ahsoka would have actually fallen out faster.
Yeah, you're right about that. But like even the fact that that's even on there because regardless of writer's strike, like it just shows you how like there was just better work in the past, and it's
no, but also like in the current day, at least look with Star Wars, like I don't even think a normie can get entertained enough for this kind of show because number one, you're bringing out a character like Ahsoka that the only people that will know who the heck Ahsoka is going to be people that either watched Clone Wars or Rebels. Now, it's mostly for the Clone Wars people. Because at least for the Ahsoka characters, because that's where you get to know more about that character. And then for the other characters like Sabine and Syndulla, okay, and friggin' Ezra, that's in Rebels. However, you like with a show, you have to focus on the fact that you need to cater to both your fan base and the casual audience because you want that casual audience to become interested in whatever franchise this show is about and like get them interested enough to want to find out from the fan base or by themselves who these characters are and watch the other shows and turn them into fans.
They took an anime
One
that's
Piece
got
obviously
over
did it.
They took an anime that's got over 1,000 episodes. They put a live action version on Netflix and it fucking dominated. So you can't.
That's what I said.
It's like Casey is right. It is a quality for the general viewer issue. Like, do you know how many TV shows I've started and then dropped just because it was the quality wasn't there? Now, I'm a good example of that because I'm a fucking snob. But even if the vast majority of individuals that are just like casual viewers want to turn something on after a long day at work just to turn the brain off while they eat their Salisbury steak or whatever, they're not turning on fucking Ahsoka. They may have the first 2 episodes. They didn't go back to it. That's why it fell off, because there's nothing that's keeping the normie here. Like people all the time, like, oh, you gotta stay true to the source material. Well, yeah, you do, because you want your main audience to be happy, because they're gonna talk about it. They're gonna go spread the word on social media. They're gonna talk about it around the water cooler. They're gonna get word of mouth out there. But just because something is inherently true to the source material, that is not enough alone. It's still got to be well made enough that also the normie can, get involved and it be digestible to them. That's why Iron Man worked. That's why early MCU worked. It was true enough to the source material, but still fun enough for the normie. They're not doing that with Star Wars anymore. They're not attracting people who are fans of Star Wars, but they're not attracting normies either. They're only attracting individuals who want modern Disney ideology, and it's I normally do not jump to ideology is the thing that's ruining shows, because now there's a lot more to it than that. But Ahsoka is kind of a special case where it's both boring and has bad ideology, so you're not even getting the audience that Disney wanted, which is the 0.7% of trannies out there in the world.
Well, they
one
need
thing I
better
wanted to point
costume
out-
designers. They
Just-
do
yeah.
need better costume designers.
They don't
thing I
care.
wanted
They're
to
not going
point
to get back.
out-
They're just going to throw trash
Right.
together and then just here you go.
really quick is that just how much it actually fell off. This is within after the first week. So the first 2 episodes, it was at what 5th place with 829 million minutes. That's 2 episodes. So take that number divided by half, and that's basically your real viewership. And then within the next week after, it completely falls off the charts after the first 2 episodes. And considering that number 10 is 590 million minutes, that means that it's probably half of what this number was by just the second week and continuing to further go down. So that's a pretty hard fall after your first week. And again, it goes to show that probably a lot of people rage watched the first episode. The true people who wanted to give it a real shot watched the second episode, and then it lost half of its viewership by the third, which is that's crazy.